Dear friends, welcome to this week's edition of the Inspired Parsha. This week we have the incredible privilege to read through Parshat Tetzaveh. And like every Parsha in the Torah, there's so many beautiful, rich Torah ideas, especially in the Hasidic world. But I just want to focus on one pasuk, one verse. This is in Shemos, this is in Exodus chapter 28, verse 2. It says, V'asisa bigdei kodesh la'aron achicha, you shall make the holy garments for Aaron your brother, l'kavod u'tiferes, for splendor and for beauty. This parsha goes through all the elaborate details of the special vestments that the Kohen and the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, wore. And the pasuk, the verse emphasizes that it's l'kavod u'tiferes, for splendor and for beauty. The question is why? I mean, why the need for all this physical, beautiful stuff that had to, adorn the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, and adorn the Kohanim, the regular priests? What was the need for it? And why does even the pasuk, the verse says, l'kavod u'tiferes, it's for splendor and for beauty? Isn't Judaism supposed to teach the simplicity of the Torah, right? Aren't we supposed to be humble? Right? There's no mitzvah, there's no obligation to live if anything, it's looked down upon to live an extravagant, materialistic lifestyle. Why this emphasis on the l'kavod u'tiferes, for splendor and for beauty? So the Sfas Emes says, and this is actually elaborated a little bit even more in Rav Tzadok HaKohen, that this is all true. We look down on materialism and extravagance and things like that, except when it comes to a mitzvah. Why? Because beautifying the mitzvah brings out the beauty of the mitzvah. It makes the mitzvah even more grandiose, even more beautiful. So when it comes to a mitzvah, we're supposed to actually beautify it. When you see this especially by an esrog, the whole mitzvah of pre-Eitz Hadar, to beautify the esrog, to find the most beautiful esrog you can. People will sometimes go to great lengths when it comes to a mitzvah to beautify it even more. Why? Because it's elevating the mitzvah even to a higher level. It's bringing out the inner beauty of the mitzvah. I always think of it as a little bit like a frame, a frame around a painting. If you have a beautiful frame around a painting, then it brings out the beauty of the painting, what's inside, even more. So when does it become bad, though? Because there are limits too. So Shlomo HaMelech, the great King Solomon, we know that he had so into beauty, right? He had the first Beis HaMikdash, the first temple, was known to be so exquisitely beautiful. Everything was gold, everything was just the ornaments, everything was exquisitely beautiful. But he also then took it to an excess. At some point he crossed a line where it wasn't just any more about beautifying the mitzvah, it was just about beauty in and of itself. He was known for his excess, and to a certain extent, it led a little bit to Shlomo HaMelech's downfall. He didn't reach the level of his father, King David HaMelech, because he got caught up in the excess. Sometimes when they want to beautify the mitzvah, but then it only becomes about the beauty itself, they're losing sight of the source of it. It's supposed to beautify the mitzvah, not just being beauty in and of itself, not just creating beauty in and of itself. Again, to give the example of the frame that I mentioned before, imagine if the frame becomes so beautiful and magnificent that suddenly you're not even looking at the painting anymore, you're just looking at the frame. It takes away from the painting at a certain point. The purpose of beautifying a mitzvah is to help remember the mitzvah, to help bring out the beauty of the mitzvah, but not to make the beauty in end all, as some people might do. I want to give everyone a bracha, a blessing. Beautify the mitzvahs. Help to bring out the inner beauty of the mitzvahs, but also to a little bit hold it in check and remember that the end goal is not the beauty in and of itself, not the materialism. It actually is still the holiness of the mitzvah. I want to wish everyone here a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh. Thank you so much for listening.